Let me tell you something most people never say out loud. The most dangerous person to a narcissist is not a bigger, badder narcissist. It's the one they underestimated. The Super Empath. Welcome to No More Chains, a place where we speak truth about spiritual and emotional warfare. Today, we're uncovering one of the most powerful dynamics in this battle. The empath is the one who feels everything. They feel the room, they feel the tension, they feel the lies, and for a long time, they stay quiet. They think it's their job to fix people, to hold it together, to keep the peace, to absorb the chaos like a human sponge. They operate in a spirit of mercy, often forgetting that Matthew 10:16 tells us to be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves. For a season, the innocence is all they show. But here's what no one tells you. The super empath isn't weak, they're just patient. They watch, they learn, they connect the dots. And when they finally see the narcissist for who they are, game over. Because now the empath is awake. And when an empath wakes up, they stop reacting. They stop explaining. They stop chasing closure from someone who is never capable of giving it. You want to know how a super empath truly defeats a narcissist? They stop playing the game. They go silent. They go still. And in that silence, the narcissist loses their grip. Narcissists thrive on control. They need your confusion. They need your emotional reactions. They need to be the center of your world, even if it's through pain. So when the empath stops responding, when they set a boundary and actually mean it, the narcissist doesn't know what to do. Because now they're irrelevant, invisible, powerless. You see, healing? It's punishment for the narcissist. Because healing means, I see what you did, and I'm not broken. I see how you tried to control me, and I'm free. I see your lies, and I choose truth. And nothing tortures a narcissist more than watching the one they tried to destroy rise up, rise strong, and rise without them. Part 1. The Empath's Gift and the Narcissist's Game. Empaths feel everything. Every shift in energy, every unsaid word, every flicker of emotion in a room. They sense it all. It's not a choice. It's how they're wired. They can walk into a space and immediately pick up on the undercurrents. This is a profound spiritual sensitivity. It's a form of discernment, a gift that allows them to perceive what is not seen. The Bible speaks of this in 1 Corinthians 2:15, stating that the person with the Spirit makes judgments about all things. The empath is often judging, or discerning, the spiritual atmosphere. Now here's the twist. Narcissists are the opposite. They don't feel what others feel. They don't tune in to your discomfort, your boundaries, or your needs. But that doesn't mean they're emotionally dumb. In fact, they're calculating. While an empath naturally connects to people, a narcissist studies people. They learn what gets a reaction. They learn what buttons to push. They crave one thing more than anything else: control. Control over perception. Control over emotions. Control over people. This is where the dynamic gets toxic, fast. The empath, so attuned to others, often tries to soothe, fix, or make sense of the narcissist's pain. They operate from a place of 1 Corinthians 13 love, assuming the best. They think, maybe if I love them harder, show more patience, or give more grace, I can pull the real person out from behind the mask. But the narcissist doesn't want to be healed. They want to be obeyed. They feed off attention, drama, power. They exploit the empath's kindness and repackage it as weakness. And the empath? They start to question themselves. They begin to think they're too sensitive, too emotional, too much. That's exactly how the narcissist wants it. Because the more confused and self-doubting the empath becomes, the easier they are to manipulate. Part 2. The Awakening. When the empath sees the pattern. The narcissist's game is manipulation. It's not just something they do. It's how they move through the world. Every conversation, every gesture, every word is part of a strategy. They test boundaries early, often in small, subtle ways. They push just a little, then pull back. But here's where the empath's power comes in. Awareness. When an empath becomes aware, really aware, they become unstoppable. Empaths don't manipulate. They don't seek control. But they notice patterns. They recognize energy shifts. They start to see that the same emotional roller coaster keeps repeating. They begin to name things: gaslighting, love bombing, devaluation. This awakening is a form of spiritual discernment. It's the fulfillment of Hebrews 5:14, which says that solid food is for the mature, who by constant use have trained themselves to distinguish good from evil. The empath, through their painful experience, has been trained. They learn what projection looks like, what triangulation feels like. They start connecting the dots between the narcissist's words and their actions. And the picture that forms is not love, it's control. This awareness doesn't come all at once. It comes in waves. A gut feeling here, a moment of clarity there. But with each wave, the empath gains ground. They start trusting themselves again. They start observing instead of reacting. They stop absorbing and start analyzing. The things that used to confuse them now become predictable. The narcissist's tactics lose their power because the empath is no longer responding from a place of confusion. They're responding from clarity. And in that clarity, the empath begins to take back what was stolen: their voice, their boundaries, their sense of self. Part 3. The silent weapon. Detachment and indifference. A super empath doesn't fight back in the way most people expect. They don't scream. They don't try to hurt the narcissist the way the narcissist hurt them. That's not how they're built. Their power isn't in matching chaos with chaos. It's in stepping outside of it completely. They make a shift, quietly, internally. They stop trying to fix it. They stop trying to prove anything. This is the ultimate application of Proverbs 26:4. Do not answer a fool according to his folly, or you yourself will be just like him. They simply stop answering. Detachment is next. Not coldness, not indifference as the world knows it, but a deep spiritual and emotional boundary. The super empath starts pulling their energy back. They stop explaining themselves. They stop defending against lies. They stop giving emotional reactions. And this drives the narcissist insane. Because control only works when the other person is emotionally engaged. When the empath detaches, it's like unplugging the narcissist's power source. The drama no longer works. The guilt no longer lands. The silent treatment no longer scares. Then comes the most powerful piece: true indifference. If silence is the weapon, indifference is the sword. Indifference cuts deeper than anger ever could. Anger still shows you care. But indifference? That's the absence of attachment. That's where true power lives. The empath who used to cry and overthink no longer even flinches. They've shifted from needing the narcissist's validation to not caring at all. And that shift, to a narcissist, is devastating. Because a narcissist needs to feel important. Indifference tells them they are irrelevant, that they no longer matter, that their ability to influence your mind, your heart, your energy is gone. And that truth is unbearable for someone whose entire identity is built on external control. Part 4. Healing as the ultimate revenge. Healing is the ultimate revenge because it is the one thing the narcissist never expects. They expect you to stay broken. They expect the wounds they cause to keep you stuck. As long as you're hurt, you're reactive. As long as you're reactive, they still have power. But healing shatters that illusion. Healing means you stop bleeding from the wounds they inflicted. It means you stop waiting for an apology that will never come. This is a biblical principle. Isaiah 61:3 speaks of God giving us a crown of beauty instead of ashes, the oil of joy instead of mourning, and a garment of praise instead of a spirit of despair. Healing is this divine exchange. When you heal, you stop needing closure because you've given it to yourself. You begin to rewrite the story not as a victim, but as a victor. The narcissist doesn't know what to do with a healed empath. The reactions they once triggered no longer show up. The guilt trips don't land. The emotional hooks they used to rely on are gone. The empath sees everything now. Not just the patterns, but themselves. They see their own value. They understand their own worth as a child of God. They no longer blame themselves for the narcissist's dysfunction. And that is what truly kills the narcissist's influence. Because influence requires access, emotional, mental, spiritual access, and healing builds walls where there used to be open doors. Part 5. From Pain to Purpose. A super empath turns pain into purpose, and that transformation is a form of torture for a narcissist. Narcissists don't just want to hurt you, they want to leave a permanent imprint. They want the damage they cause to define you. But a super empath does something different. They don't just survive the trauma, they study it. They feel it fully, let it burn, and then use the ashes to rebuild something stronger. They stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What can I build from this?" That shift terrifies the narcissist. It means the pain no longer belongs to them. The narrative is no longer theirs to control. The very thing they meant to use as a weapon becomes the raw material for the empath's evolution. Purpose is powerful. It's what happens when the empath takes everything they've been through and starts using it to uplift others, to set boundaries, to teach, to speak, to live with clarity. Their pain becomes fuel, and that fire creates momentum. They become the version of themselves the narcissist tried to keep buried, confident, clear, unapologetic. The narcissist is forced to witness the one outcome they tried to prevent, their own irrelevance. The empath doesn't just move on, they rise. They become a guide for others. They become a mirror of truth that exposes manipulation without saying a word. They walk into rooms no longer carrying shame, but wisdom. And that evolution reflects everything the narcissist lacks: depth, accountability, growth. So, if you are a super empath, you don't need revenge. You don't need to yell or prove anything. You just need to heal. You just need to reclaim your voice, your identity in Christ, and walk away with your God-given power intact. Because that is how you break the final chain. And that is how you win a war without ever throwing a punch. Family, if this message on the power of the super empath has resonated with you, if you see yourself in this journey from pain to purpose, then let this be a sign to subscribe to No More Chains. Hit that like button if you found strength here today. Your subscription helps this channel reach more people who are still trapped in the silence, helping them find their own path to freedom. Thank you for watching. Walk in your purpose.